Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. So with the remaining part of the project management process, we have the two topic remaining: project monitoring and controlling and project closing. As you know, dear students, that every project they have a life cycle. During this life cycle, there are several phases. These phases are called process groups. Each of these process groups has different circle, and they has a different ways, and they have the crucial objectives which helps to produce desired outcomes in a project. So project monitoring and controlling process group activities helps to keep the project on a proper track. If they track which was planned in the planning stage. Project monitoring and controlling, this is also called PM&C. Unlike the other phases, it done from the beginning until the end of the project. These project monitoring and controlling process activities check whether the project is going as planned and whether there are any deviations from the baseline. Look at, dear students, in the planning we make some baseline, and in project monitoring we checked out that either our project is according to that plan and that baseline or not, or if there are some deviations taken place, so then controlling process will take place. That what are the reason of these deviations? This process group cover all the other four processes, like we studied the remaining process. Project monitoring and control phase, why that is too much important? The questions come in the mind of the students that why project monitoring and controlling is too much important. So dear students, for a successful project, there are some best practice to implement a good project monitoring and controlling. Why? Because monitoring and controlling activities check if there are some deviation or fluctuations comes from the expected result of the project. It means that what are we planning and what are we expecting the results. So if there is some fluctuations in the results come, we calculate that let's suppose I will take here locate. So if we say that like this one, this is our baseline of the project. So in here we say that if we are instead of this, if we are here, our performance is here. So in the monitoring stage, the project manager checked why we are here instead of this place? What are the reasons? And then in the controlling action should be taken place. That what are the reasons that we are not according to our plane? There is a gap. So that's why this is very important one. This phase is very important one in the project management. One more, dear students, the project management, all processes that are documented. So similarly, the project controlling and monitoring process is also properly documented. Like if you looked out this diagram, so this is in the planning stage, we plan all these, like how to manage how to create the project scope management, how to plan the project time management, how to plan the project cost management, then project quality management, then project communication management, project risk management, project procurement management. In planning stage, all these we are discussed. All these, that how to make proper project scope management planning are made, then how good plannings are made for the project time management, how to properly time manage all the project activity, then the cost of the project is how properly planned and properly they are managed, that each and every activity is assigned a proper cost. Then the quality of the project, how should be properly planned and managed. Similarly, the project communication, which type of the communication, in which way the communication took place for the project, an effective way how we can do communication in a project, and the stakeholder of the project. Similarly, the resources, they are human resources, they are working in a project, so how we can properly make communication with them. In proper plannings are made. And similarly, the risk of the project is, we know that each and every risk that are included in the project, so how we can properly manage that risk. Then after that, project procurement, how the procurement of the project should be taken place. So plannings are made for all these activities. Now in the monitoring and controlling process, we will check it out. We will compare the execution stage of the project, as we discussed in my previous lecture, and the planning stage, that all those plannings which are made in the planning stage. So in the execution stage, when practically shape are given to these activities, now here in the fourth stage, we will compare that either the work is according to the planning or not, or if there is some deviations come, some discrepancies come, some over and under comes. So then in the controlling stage, the project manager will take the decisions that why the result is not according to the plan. And the implementation stage, what are the weaknesses in the implementation stage, that project is not properly worked according to the planning. So on the basis of that, we can say that this is very, very important one stage of the project management process. If here in this stage, if we have lost the control, the project manager lost the control, so the objective of the project and objective of the project client will never be achieved. So there are 16 best practices for the project monitoring and control. First one is what, dear students? First one is taking action to control the project. That is the necessary step to control point and actions are taken to monitor and control the project. These projects, dear students, provide if the project is deviating from the planned baseline. Like I give the example that let's suppose project communication. So if properly communication doesn't taken place, so in the action should be taken to control this one. Why? What are the reasons that communication is not taken place properly during the resources, the human resources of the project manager? Yeah, similarly, if the plan which is made against the project management risk, of the quality management. So now the output of the project is not, their quality is not according to the plan. So proper action should be taken place. That what are the reasons that quality is not matched with the plain quality? A real quality is not matched with the plain quality. Second one, actions that should be taken, that is, steps in the project monitoring and controlling is measuring the performance. To properly measure the performance on regular basis. In this stage, regularly you should measure the performance in order to check whether the project is going well or not. For instance, dear students, if the cost performance of the project will give an indication whether the planned budgets will be sufficient to complete the project. So schedule performance of the project will give an indications whether the planned schedules and dates can be reached or not. When we properly measure the performance of the project here, so then after that, if some fluctuations come, like I will give the example that let's suppose we say that after 1 month our cost will be now how much, that is let's suppose 2 million, that will be our cost. But when 1 month is complete, so the project cost is up to 2.5. So here now action should be taken. What are the reasons that the cost of the project are going to increase? That is not according to the project. This is over now stated. Clear? So that was the second, to measure the proper performance. Third one, determine variances if they warrants a change request. So dear students, if there is a lot of variance from the baseline, so for example, if it is expected that the project duration will exceed the planned duration by 20%, then regarding action must be taken to meet the project targets. Why? Here fluctuation is too much lengthy. The fourth one step is influence the factors that cause the change. Change are, dear students, change are inevitables in a project. But preventive actions can be taken to influence the factors that cause change. For instance, a detailed scope and requirement clarifications with the customer will reduce the change that will be coming from the customer. In the scope stage, if we take the detailed requirements and the clarifications, so during this the project execution stage which we planned, so the changing requirements, the influence of the changing factors will be less. But if at the scope stage we are not taking complete informations from the client, so during the project execution stage we will face the problem. Project manager will face the problem, because then client will give these information that bring changes like this one, bring changes like this one. Fifth one, steps, that is request the change. If there is some deviations, a change from the planned value, so then the change can be requested to meet the planned value again. It means that contingency plannings will be adopted. Six steps, that is perform integrated changed control. If you think, dear students, so I am now going towards explaining all these things. So perform integrated change control. Change in a project must be implemented in an integrated manner. In a splitted manner, we will integrate all activities, divided all the activities, because a small change in one aspect of the project might impact the overall project. So performing an integrated change control evaluates the change and its impacts on the projects. Then a proper change implementation is planned to minimize the risk of that change. Seventh one step, dear students, that is approve or reject the changes. Project monitoring and controlling process may approve or reject the changes. Changes are evaluated by the change control board. Project have a board for accepting the different changes during the project work. So if this board rejects the change, so it wouldn't be implemented. Those changes shouldn't be implemented. And if a change is approved by that project control board, so project plan revision must be done. All in the first time the planning took place in the planning stage, so those planning will be revised. That is called planning revision. And the planning revision is the work of that board, that change control board. This is called change control board, CCB. Simply we can shortcut CCB, change control board. And when that revision must be done, and the change should be implemented properly. Now the contingency plan are changed in the same like plan took place, and those changes will be implemented to the project. The 8th steps, that is they inform the stakeholders of approved changes. When changes are taken place in the 7 steps, so then the stakeholder should be informed. Stakeholder means for whom we are going to make this change. Like we bring changes in the quality control. We bring changes in the scope. We bring changes in the monitoring of the risk. We bring changes in the performance, the project communications. So we will inform the stakeholders about those changes. If the decision of the change control board is approving a change, so this must be communicated to the stakeholder, because the previous plans, scope and target have also been changed. So the stakeholder must be notified about all these changes. Hope you will understand these points. Next one step, that is manage configuration. The configuration of the project describes the meaningful and properly working combination of the different modules or of the part of the project. So in order to ensure healthy project progression, progress, we can say that, so that configuration is properly managed. How we can configure the different activities of the project, that there should be gives us a progress result proper. Step number 10, that is create forecasts. Dear students, project monitoring and controlling process group the activities to create forecast. What will be the budgets of the project on the completion stage? For example, this is one forecast, and what will be the end date of the project if the project performs as it is performed till now, according to the time management activities. So these type of forecast helps to see how far the project is from the target now. Like we can say that after 1 month, 20% of the project activity must be done. In a total project will be completed within 5 months. Now, 2.5 months are over, and more than half of the project is already finished. So we will be sure that our project will be finished on the time, because work is done according to the planning. 11 steps that are included in the project monitoring and controlling, that is what? That is gain acceptance from the customers. Once the project deliverable and completed, so they are presented to the customers, to the stakeholders. And if the deliverables meet the requirements agreed with the customers, in the beginning, the customer accepts the project, and closing phase is now triggered. We will apply after this the closing stage. Gain acceptance from customers. This is the 11th stage. It means that when the customer accepts the projects, that yes, okay, I'm satisfied from this project. This is according to my wish. So after that, the closing, we will shift towards the closing phase. 12th step is perform quality controls. Quality control activity check the quality attributes of the delivered outcomes. For example, dear students, if the product of the project might meet the budgets in the schedule targets, but the quality requirement might not meet the customer expectations. In this case, the project will be considered as a failed. So therefore, performing quality control is too much important. This one, 8.3. Look at, if we complete the project within budget and within the available resources, but in a cost, budgets and other resources that are according to the plan, but the quality that is not too much attractive. So this project will not be a successful project. That will be a failure project. So that's why planning of the quality control is too much important. 13 number steps, that is report on project performance. Since, my dear students, forecasting and project performance is measured during monitoring and controlling. So project performance report are sent to the relevant stakeholders during this phases as well as that what is our project performance when we are doing the project. So during that stage, the project manager will send the report of the all project activity to the stakeholders, that these are our plans and these are our practical works and we are now doing these activity of the projects. 14th step is perform risk audits. Risk may be affected the project drastically, as we all know. So therefore, each anticipated risk must be documented, and risk response strategies for each risk must be planned in case of risk management. Here we will make planning for the project risk management. So that should be first properly audited. We will check it out. 15th step is manage reserves. Reserves are planned to accommodate cost of the risk. An unexpected situation in a project. Yeah, we can say that abnormal situations of the projects. So we are properly keeping some reserves, like monthly wise we put up some money and make some backup, and if in future, for the future uncertainty, and when we have some financial hazards, so then we are using our that reserves. Each and every person do this one. For example, if the project budget is 1 million USD, so 10% reserve can be planned to accommodate the impact of that risk. And if the project duration is 12 months, so in addition 2 months we can plan as a buffer to overcome any kind of the risk that might occur during the projects. So these reserves are managed in monitoring and controlling phases, dear students. Time reserves and budget reserves as well as. I'm sure that I will finish this project in, let's suppose, $1 lakh. So instead of $1 lakh, I will give the budget of $1,05,000. Yeah, $1,10,000. Similarly, if I'm 100% sure that project will be completed within 12 months, so 12 months, I will give 13 months time duration. 1 month is a reserve. Last one is administrator administer procurements. So all the tools, equipments or resources can be outsourced from the supplier during a project. Administrations of these purchases, outsourcing and leasing activities are done during the monitoring and controlling phase. If a successful monitoring and controlling process can be implemented, so the whole project has a better chance to be a success. So the outcomes all of closing process group activity will be planned in the planning phase. So dear students, this was the monitoring and controlling process, the complete explanations. The last one stage, that is project closing process. So project closing process is, as its name indicate, project closing process. So project closing process, project will be closed in two ways. Close the project when that is completed, and taking all the acceptance from the customers. Then documents all the changes occurred and record all the lesson during the project. From A to Z, all the project activity that will be written or will be kept in documentary form. Then after that, conduct a project post-project preview. When we are conducting post-project review and we are sure that there is now no need for the project, so we can close this project and archive all the documents of the projects for the upcoming project. So this was the project management process, dear students, and hope you will understand. So if you have any problem, so you can contact in the group. You can drop me your messages if you have some problem in some topics. So wish you a good time. See you inshallah in the next class. Allah Hafiz.